That's enough from me. As is our custom, and it's one of my favorites, you have chosen a senior class speaker to represent you as part of this ceremony. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce the class of 2023 speaker, SirWayne Wardlow.
Good afternoon. Reverend Hendrickson, Dean Frichet, faculty, distinguished guests, and perhaps most importantly, to the friends and family who have supported us throughout the entirety of this life quest that we've been on and have journeyed, in some cases, thousands of miles to be here with us today. On behalf of the class 2023, we want to thank you all for joining us today. To my fellow graduates, we made it. We made it. While every day is a pretty good day to be a Blue Jay, I don't think that I'm exaggerating by any means if I say that today is an outstanding day to be a Blue Jay. Am I right? Y'all do better than that. Come on, classmates. Am I right? Today is an outstanding day to be a Blue Jay. Am I right? All right. That's what I need to hear. All right, now let's get into it. Let's talk about what makes this place special. Creighton Law. This place is special. I'm told that in our class, we have representatives from 19 different states and 2 U.S. territories. Among us, there are educators, veterans, combat veterans, musicians, accountants, engineers, 1 literal scientist, and I could go on and on and on. You guys are rock stars, you know that. We've had the privilege of being taught by professors who've written more books and published more articles in the legal field than there are students in this class. Heck, Professor Mangrum literally wrote the book on evidence. Professor Mack is a national authority on criminal law and procedure. No one in America knows more about civil procedure than Professors Borchers and Tepley. Professor Hanneman is our very own death guru. I could go on and on. So what is it about this place? What is it that drew us to this institution and then kept us here once we arrived? See, student and faculty alike, we all had options. And I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but Omaha does not have California, Florida, or even Virginia's beaches to act as a draw. It's not blessed with the majestic beauty of the mountainous views that make up the skylines of places like Colorado, Wyoming, or Utah. Nothing greets you but the cruelty of a cold prairie wind when you head to an 8 a.m. February lecture, and I'm telling you, that wind is aggressive. So I ask again, what is it about this place? How does a tiny school in the middle of the country attract students and faculty from across the globe? See, I believe that the answer lies in the Latin phrase of cure personalis, or care for the whole person. Now, I understand how corny it may seem for the commencement speaker to stand up here spouting off cliche talking points that I could have got off the website. Like, I get it. I promise you guys, they're not paying me to say this stuff. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm a little seasoned, right? I've done some living. I've earned all these grades. And over the way, I've learned that words are only corny if they're not buttressed by meaningful deeds. So while I understand there's not a school in America that doesn't have fancy words accompanying its brochures, I know that this place is different. How do I know? I know because I've never walked by Professor Rowe and seen every door closed. I know because I've seen genuine concern in the eyes of many of you when a classmate's been absent a little bit too long. I know how willingly you share outlines and tips with one another. I know because 7 years ago, this commencement speaker failed out of this institution. That's right. And I spent the next few years driving tractor trailers across the country. And when I wasn't doing that, I was ignoring phone calls from concerned friends and family while trying to drown all my sorrows in the self-pity of a bottle. See, there is no CREAC, there is no blueprint that aids you in trying to explain to your mother how you blew a once-in-a-lifetime chance to live a dream that she's been sacrificing for since before you were born. The same is true of trying to tell grandparents who've been praying for you since before you were born. There is no book to tell you how to get through that. And see, when I was at my lowest points trying to figure out what life was supposed to look like after having blown a once-in-a-lifetime chance to live a dream I'd sacrificed the previous decade chasing in ways that I don't care to remember sometimes, members of this institution and alumni, they kept tabs on me. They checked on me. They encouraged me. See, it's one thing for friends and family to pick you up in your darkest moments, and believe me, my friends and family are big enough to be able to fill this entire venue. I'm blessed. But it's something altogether different when it comes from strangers who aren't connected to you by blood. See, when I decided to try to come back, Ms. Barbara Kay and her team of admissions, they made no guarantees about my prospects of readmission, and in fact, she was pretty honest about my prospects of success. But she told me that her and her team would do everything they could to help me, and they did. And when I got back, one of the first people to greet me was Professor Mack. That was followed shortly thereafter by heartfelt greetings from Professors Johnson, Weber, Reel, Cote, and others. Dean Frichet knew my name after a short time. I spent hours in Professors Mack and Mangram's offices working through the pitfalls of 1L year. You all know what that is about. Even though I wasn't one of their students, they took time to help me out. See, it's that top-down approach to caring for the whole person that trickles down into the student body. That's how you get to a place where students fall all over themselves to line up to become law ambassadors so they can tell prospective students with conviction all the things that Creighton Law has to offer. That's how you get to a place where you believe Dean Frichet when he says he has an open door policy for all students. You don't need an appointment. That's how this commencement speaker has gotten to a place that although I'm excited to be minutes away from living my dream, I am legitimately saddened that I'm no longer going to be able to see most of you every day. That's how you get to a place where you realize that what Creighton lacks in beaches or mountains, it more than makes up for in love. And I will spend the rest of my life telling anyone who will listen that I am a proud Creighton alum. Classmates, graduates, while we have a unique opportunity in front of us based on the JDs that will now accompany our names, for the rest of our lives, we'll be pulled in many different directions. Only now, instead of our battles being about moot court seatings, trial team participation, or OCI slots, soon we're going to be playing for keeps. Now, whether we're headed towards work in criminal law, transactional fields, or involving ourselves in some of the political fights that will shape this nation's future in the years to come, when we find ourselves on opposite sides of those fights, may we do so with the thought of this place in our hearts. May we do so with the spirit of cura personalis in our souls. This has been, without a doubt, one of the absolute honors of my life. And I want to thank you all for blessing me with the opportunity to stand up here and speak on your behalf. And I also want to thank each one of you for the memories of the past 3 years.